Bim. Hi, Bim.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Ren. Hi, Dan, Kayla, Patrick, Angela, Sam.
Hello, hello, hello.
How has everyone been?
I'm great. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Oh, God, Dan, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Sorry to hear that.
I think I told you before, Dan, when you messaged me, that I was sorry, but I will say it again. I am very sorry.
And thank you, Sam. Glad you could finish the series with us. Getting very close to finishing this series, too.
Yes, we are. Yes.
We kind of missed a week last week, but hopefully that was a one-off, and
I had to work a lot.
Be smooth sailing from here.
I had to work a lot, actually.
Mike, how you been?
Yeah, long time no see. Howdy. Okay. What are you boiling?
Oh, yeah, I'm making coffee. Be right back.
Okay. Oh, you're making coffee?
Yeah.
That sounds nice. Oh man. No fit we have the fish tank, but it has moved. It has been rearranged so that we can we just rearranged. We've got some renovations going on over here. So fish tank is still here. Just wow, it's warm over here. And I feel like I look very orange. Oh, nice. Pretty flowers outside the window. Oh, thank you. That is our, what is that bush? It's a,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a giant tree thing. I don't know what it is.
It's the bush that was here when we moved it.
Yeah, it was here when we moved here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is.
It smells nice.
It
and
does.
It looks nice.
And the flowers are lovely. Oh, maybe I should just take all this out.
But yeah,
Do I smell like
currently all this is kind of a work in progress.
Yes.
We're rearranging our whole office area and stuff.
Yes.
As you can see, a little table, a little arts and crafts table for Ramona. So, thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
I dug out some of my Hawaiian shirts. It's starting to get hot, so
It's Hawaiian shirt time.
it is.
I
mean, is there anything more comfy than Hawaiian shirt and like pajamas or like basketball shorts?
I mean, it's not really my style, but
So comfy though.
Lex, you were asking if you smelled like giraffe at one time. Have you actually seen that giraffe lady? Which giraffe lady? There's a lot of them. Do I smell like giraffe today?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I wore them specifically because it is the start of Pride Month. That is why I wore them today. Today was my
that's right.
My first it was my first day of work at the animal park, so I wanted to start things off with a bang with a little bit of pride.
Very nice.
I can't do much rainbow, but I can do a little bit of rainbow.
I forgot it was. I should have worn my Ragnarok with the
little rainbow on it.
Yeah, with the rainbow.
It's all right. You got all month.
That's true.
Oh, so actually, while we're on the subject, Happy Pride Month, everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I just have to, it's cold where I am. Little bit of flair. Yeah, a little bit. Little bit of flair. Trying to do a little differently. I look very orange over here.
Oh yeah, I think that's the color correction on my screen though. I don't think.
Oh, I'm not actually orange.
No, I was playing with the hues and saturations because for some reason this monitor, when I hooked up the other one, it looked very washed out. So I played with it.
I see. So I look more like this over here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome, Kayla. Jeez.
Here you go.
You normally look white balanced to me. Kayla says we've helped her with her mental health.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, that's awesome.
I'm glad we could help.
I know, right? Dan, I am getting tan. So there is that. It is happening. I am getting tan. Slowly but surely.
I've got about as tan as I'm gonna get for the year.
I think
I've turned a little orange, and that's like about it.
I'm like 3 shades darker than you already.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I don't really tan that much.
I'm a very pale person, but I do tan in the summer. It's kind of crazy. You're tanner than me. Ugh. Wait till the end of August. I'll be pretty tan by then, I'm sure. By the way, I'm pretty sure I saw the giraffes give each other little kisses today.
Aw, that's sweet.
It was cute. It was cute. And I was the only one that saw it.
Reading on the beach, that sounds so nice right now.
He's dying for a vacation.
I am. It's ridiculous.
He's in a seasonal depressed state or something. I don't know. He's pining away. Pining for the beach, not the fields.
Beach or just middle of the woods by a stream, something.
I would not mind being in the middle of the woods.
But yes. Body of water, nature, quiet, maybe just the sounds of nature, and a book. It's where I want to be right now. Well, second. So it's always fun streaming.
So you would not be opposed to going to a small town in the middle of nowhere in Oregon that has a nice lake?
Oh, are you doing a Gravity Falls reference?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
There's books.
Thank you, Kayla. That's exactly what happens to me. I tan slightly, but any more than that, I'll just burn, and then, like, I'm white again.
I remember Hawaii.
Yeah.
I remember
Hawaii. It's terrible.
Curious, do you all watch the movies when they're on TV? I go through phases. I'm not gonna lie, I used to watch the movies when they were on TV, but I really don't watch them anymore. I haven't watched, the last time I watched them was when we watched them as we finished the books, and that was the first time I'd watched them in a while. So my feet are burned. Ow.
Oof. Yeah, I've been there. That's some of the worst.
Listen, nothing compares to being attacked by red ants on your foot.
It's true.
Okay.
The worst place I was ever burned was my armpit.
Ow.
Yeah.
How did that even happen? Did you fall asleep outside?
I was on a beach chair and I was like this. I fell asleep and my armpit got burned.
Ow!
It wasn't fun.
Ow!
Especially because I did have my arm across my forehead, so then I had this big white streak and then everything else was burned. And I had one arm over, so then I had like a white handprint on my chest.
Dan says getting sunburned at a nude beach is the worst.
Oh, yeah, it hasn't happened to me. but I can imagine.
You are very welcome, Ada.
I agree, Sam. The books definitely ruin the movies. That's why if I introduce anyone to Harry Potter at this point, I tell them watch the movies first. Because if you watch the movies without any knowledge of the books, they're good. They're entertaining. They're solid movies.
If I ever introduce anyone to Harry Potter, I am going to tell them, read the books first, because I want you to experience what Harry Potter is and what it really is and the greatness of it. Because then you're going to watch the movies and then you're going to read the books and go, what the hell? What?
You watch the movies and it's like a summary.
Yeah, but
and
then when
you go to the books and you get the real meat of it.
Yeah,
and
but
you can it's almost like reading them for the second time before the first time. Because
no, it's not though, because if you watch the movies first, then the whole mystery of Goblet of Fire is ruined for you, and there's no intrigue and there's no questions because you already know. You already know Sirius Black is a good guy. You already know that Voldemort opened the Chamber of Secrets. You already know what a Horcrux is. There's no mystery. You already know Snape is a good guy, so then when you're reading Snape's whole arc, it's just like ruined.
I mean, you got me there, but still.
Yeah. I grew up with the movies and went back and listened to all the books, and I was so disappointed. At least the Harry Potter movies didn't leave out as much as Eragon. Oh, I love Snape so much. Ah, yay. A little embarrassed to say, but I watched the movies for 20 years before reading the books. No, don't be embarrassed. A lot of people do that. A lot of people just watch the movies and then they're like, oh, I'll read the books. And then they read the books and they're like, wow, I've been missing out on a lot of information.
But at least you can...
And I actually like that Ginny and Harry are together now because I read the books.
Yeah, but at least you can have that fun of experiencing the movies without all that.
And then you can read the book, and you read the books, and you're like, oh, Ron is an actual character with flaws and internal conflict, and he's actually a good dude, and he's a well-rounded individual, and Hermione is not annoying.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. Hermione can get a little...
Alright, Hermione can be a little annoying sometimes, but not like she is in the movies. She has her moments where she's a bit much, but most of my friends just watch the movies and it makes me crazy. I literally can't talk to people who are like, yeah, I love Harry Potter. I've seen the movies 1,000,000 times. Have you ever read the books? No. We can't talk about Harry Potter. We can't. I'm sorry, we can't talk about Harry Potter. We just can't.
Oh, man, I guess I'm wrong. A lot of people saying to read first.
Yeah, read the books first.
No.
You should read the books first. Because, like I said, the mystery and the plot twists in the books are ruined if you watch the movies first. And half of what makes those books so good is the what's going to happen next, and the twist, and the things that happen. And learning the things about the magic. But, especially since the movies leave out a lot about how the magic works. And then you go back and you read the books, and then you're like, oh, now that scene in the movie makes sense because it was not explained at all in the movie what this magic is, but now I know what it is. Read the books first. Read the books first. Dan, forever hating on Remus and Nymphadora getting together. He will always hate on it. No wonder he likes all the young dudes so much.
Why?
Because it takes away the canon Remus and Nymphadora relationship because Remus is gay.
Oh yeah.
So
well, they can still get together.
I'm just saying maybe that's part of it. Sam wants to know, what's your favorite book scene that's not in the movies? There's so many. I will.
Well, the scene's there, but not really. Harry's like monologue with Voldemort at the end. It's kind of there.
The final fight.
I don't have a problem with the fight being in there, but have the fight and then they have to end with that little like standoff and Harry talking to him, and they didn't do that. So
Dan says Dumbledore in the Dursleys' house in the 6th one.
Oh, that would have been
That would have been good.
That would have been good with OG Dumbledore.
Yeah.
This other Dumbledore probably would have screamed in Dursley's face and drop kicked Petunia. Calmly.
I actually think those are two very good choices. Those are good ones. I would also add to that the House of Gaunt.
Yeah.
I love that chapter so much. That is not there. Also the egg in the eye chapter. I love that chapter, and that's when Harry is trying to sneak back to Gryffindor Tower with the egg.
Oh yeah.
And he gets stuck in the step.
You just want to see Snape in his nighty robe.
No. I want to see
his wizard gown.
The entirety of that scene play out, because it is just hilarious to me.
It is. It's great.
So funny. OG Dumbledore hitting the Dursleys over the head with mead would be so beautiful. Yeah, when Moody discovers Harry stuck in the stairs, like that's such a great moment. That's not in there. That would be a good one. The final monologue between Harry and Voldemort is so good too. So is Dumbledore at the Dursleys' house. Like, all of these are good ones that should have been in there. It's hard to pick, like, one, if I had to pick one.
And I, like Dan said, any of the scenes with Peeves.
Yeah, just Peeves in general. Character that was in the books but was not in the movies, Peeves.
And if they had to just add one, they should have inserted Peeves into Fred and George leaving.
Yeah, if they were going to put him anywhere for any reason, it should be at least just that seed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those moments. Dan says in the 7th book where Creature yells, "For my master."
Oh, yeah.
And then when McGonagall says, "Peeves, it turns the other way." I think that's in book 5.
Slughorn running around in his jammies in the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yeah, Slughorn running around in his jammies is
And also, hi Methane.
Oh, hello. Oh my god, there was one I just thought of and I just lost it.
The house elves chopping at everyone's ankles
in
the final battle.
Well, yeah, that
Creature.
Yeah, that would be great. Does Creature tell his story in Deathly Hallows? Do we hear Creature's tale in Deathly Hallows?
I don't remember. I'll be honest. After we got past like movie 6, I only half paid attention to the movies
because 6 was so bad. Yeah, I know. I don't remember if Creature tells his story or not. I don't think he. I don't think he does. I think he just says like that. I think they just send him to go find out who has the original or something. But I don't think he actually tells the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Creature doesn't tell much about Regulus because Dobby shows up instead.
We're talking about what scene that was in the book that was not in the movies would we put in the movies?
Right, like what's our favorite scene that was in the books that didn't make it into the movies, but we feel really should have. And we've got like a list of 10 so far. Because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, what about Christmas on the Closed Ward?
Oh, yeah, Harry's date with Cho.
Harry's date with Cho? That should have been in the movies. Oh, God, that should have been in there. What about...
Could we have handled 2 awkward romances with Harry, though?
Yep.
Cho
Yes,
and then Ginny.
because that one was supposed to be awkward. What about...
It would have ended up that Harry and Cho, they would have had, like, great chemistry, and it wouldn't have been awkward at all.
What about when they go to St. Mungo's and they see Neville visiting his parents?
And Lockhart.
That should have been in there.
I can write and joined writing.
Yeah. Creature's Tale. Yeah, Creature's Tale should have definitely been in there.
Joke shop money. Yeah, they never show that, do they?
No.
Just Fred and George just start up a shop.
Yeah.
They never learn about where they got the capital to start
there's business. No running plot of the prize money and then Harry winning it and giving it to him. There's none of that there. But it's important later on because like Fred and George are immensely grateful to Harry for all that. Like they give him huge discounts on this. They tell him he can get anything with like half off in the store or something because
I thought they gave it to him for free.
I think they gave him a discount because they were like, we still got to charge you, bud.
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember. Dobby knocking Creature's teeth out for insulting Harry.
Yeah.
When they get in the fight, it's pretty great. That's pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been pretty emotional when Neville's mom gives him the candy wrapper.
I would have cried at Neville's giving. Yeah. It's sad. Yeah, Neville's parents at the hospital. That would have been a good one. Also, the scene where you see Barty Crouch Jr. being accused, Bellatrix should have been there, and she wasn't.
Now we're getting into really fine details.
I know. See,
that isn't a scene. That's just a detail of the scene.
But it's an important detail.
Yeah, but
because that's how Harry.
Yeah,
but that's how Harry finds out that Neville's parents were tortured.
Because we could get into a lot of details.
I know. Okay. Thank you. Maria says our house looks great.
Not quite done decorating yet, but
working on it.
We're working on it. We got to kind of fill in the corner back here.
David Tennant played it strong, not crying in fear. Yeah, he was very defiant as Barty Crouch Jr. He was like, yeah, I did it, so what? Mm-hmm. In the book, like, he's terrified and he's crying and he's like trying to like convince them that he didn't do it.
Exactly.
Total different vibe there. No.
Like these people don't read the books that they're acting in.
Well, the director of that movie didn't want to read the book. He said it was a chore for him to get through the whole thing, and he couldn't believe how big it was, that it was stupid how big it was. And he didn't like it. So, there you go. There it is. Yeah, I know. They could have left out Grop. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were gonna leave anything out of 5 to put something else in, you could have taken out Grop. And it would have been fine.
Grop wasn't a huge factor in the plot. You didn't need him. But
not at least not when you're making a movie. I mean, I get his significance in the books, but from a film standpoint, you really didn't need it. Mm-hmm. You could have put something else in there.
All right, you pointed out a little nitpick, so I'm going to point out a little nitpick too, because the scene was there, but I don't hate Emma Watson like you do, but I hated this scene when she's with Grub, because throughout the movie, every time she's supposed to be like this strong woman character,
yeah,
she looks like she's about to cry, and she's very emotional in the scene. But
Yeah.
then the one scene where Hermione is like very uncomfortable and freaking out, Emma Watson plays this strong, independent woman.
Yeah, doesn't she yell
Put
like
me down, Gruff. It's like,
didn't
really?
she doesn't she yell, Grop, no, put me down or something like that.
Yeah.
And in the book she's full on freaking out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the one time where we see Hermione like really freak out.
Yeah.
And that's the time Emma wants to act like she should have in so many other scenes.
Yeah. Dumbledore's funeral.
I thought that was in the movie.
No.
Really?
Really?
Oh. I thought it was.
No.
Okay, never mind. So yeah, we'll go with that.
Kayla wants to know how your fear of spiders started.
No, I've just kind of always had it.
You just never liked them?
Yeah, I never really liked them. And then I remember the one time I tried to overcome my fear. Found a daddy long leg outside. My mom brought it over. See, it's not gonna hurt you. It bit me.
They can't bite you.
They can bite.
They can't penetrate the skin.
No, but I watched him do that, and it was enough to freak little 7-year-old me out so I've hated spiders since.
I'm just saying they can't like
I gave it a chance, and he tried to bite me. So
no deal.
No deal.
Ever since then.
I trusted him, and that trust was broken.
I know, but the cats bite you and it's fine.
Yeah, but it's different. They can't just sneak up on me and crawl up my neck.
Yeah, but they sneak up on you and bite your feet.
Well, yeah.
What's the difference?
They don't have 8 legs and are creepy as hell.
Okay. Spiders don't bother me, so I don't know. Cats have 4 legs, not 8.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think cats are creepy. I don't know anyone who would think cats are creepy, but, you know, maybe there is someone out there who thinks cats are creepy. I don't know.
I think hairless cats are creepy.
They're not.
They are.
Hairless cats are nice. You stop it. They're bebe too.
I'm not saying anything on their personality. I mean, a cat is a cat is a cat, but they ugly.
Are they as ugly as Brienne?
Catelyn probably wouldn't think so. Because Catelyn, Brienne is the ugliest thing ever.
To Catelyn, Brienne is the most hideous thing she's ever seen in her life. Oh my gosh.
Every chapter with Catelyn and Brienne, I just think of Drax. With the one girl in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
You're so ugly.
I'm sorry, I just got physically ill from looking at you. Because you're so hideous.
Major Guardians vibes there.
Yeah.
With those two. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm okay with centipede or millipede. It's kind of like my fear of heights. Like, I really don't have that much of a fear of heights, but I kind of do. If I get on the roof, I get a little vertigo, I'm a little weirded out. I'm not going to look down while I'm up there, and I'm good. But at the same time, after I get past a certain height, I'm, like, cool with it. Like, tram rides or something. And I think it's because, like, I think I'm not afraid of, like, falling and dying. I think I'm afraid of falling and then being, like, paralyzed from the neck down.
Okay.
It's like, if I go skydiving and my parachute doesn't open, that's it.
You're squished.
You're dead. I don't want it to happen, but
it's better than, like, being paralyzed from the hips down or something.
But if I fall off the roof, then I have to lay there until an ambulance gets me or I get to the hospital with, like, a broken leg or arm or something.
I just don't like heights at all in any shape or form.
See, that's just
Nope.
me. Like after I get past a certain height, they don't bother me anymore.
I mean,
It's a weird mental thing I have. I don't know.
I can get on an airplane fine, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about like going up into the Eiffel Tower though. Like, I don't know about that. Broken. My mom, when I was 9, got my poppy to throw a cricket on me, and I screamed my head off. Crickets don't bother me either. I don't know. Bugs in general don't really bother me.
Most bugs don't. Spiders, though. Arachnids bother me.
I do not like house centipedes. Those I don't like. The silverfish looking things.
I've never seen one. I've
Google
probably
that.
seen one.
Google it. Google it.
Okay.
It's nightmare fuel.
Yeah, broken leg over a broken arm. Well, yeah.
Dan knows what a silverfish is. Yeah, look at that.
I mean, I remember being in like middle school and stuff, and kids would come in and they'd get to ride the elevator because they had a broken leg. They were in like a wheelchair or something. Yeah, I've never actually seen one of those, but yeah, it's pretty creepy.
I watched Parm Pants eat one time.
Ew. Yuck.
Ew. His sister's impossibly wrapped gift included a silverfish. Ew. Like I said, I've seen Parm Pants eat one. Yeah, they're yucky.
CN Tower in Toronto. You want to go there?
No.
The tower?
No. I'll stand next to it. I'll look at it. I don't want to go up in there though.
There is. I don't think it's that. There is a tower by Niagara Falls. I think there's like a restaurant in it too. You can go up in it.
I'm good. I'm good.
Sure you don't want to go? Want to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not a zip line, sky tram, top of the tower, overlook kind of person.
Didn't intend it. Maybe. No, I'm sure she didn't intend it, but still, would have been a great prank. Would have been a creature prank. Creature sends. There, what about that scene when Creature sends Harry the Christmas present full of maggots?
Oh my god, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, he sends him maggots for Christmas. Yeah. Ah, Creature. What a guy. What a guy.
Overficial. Like the things from the Mummy.
Oh, the scarab beetles.
Yeah.
Or the kangaroo catfish in the Amazon.
Oh, he doesn't burrow under your skin though. He just swims up your urethra.
He swims into your pee-pee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't pee in the water.
In the Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know lots of fish pee in there, but might not even be a kangaroo. What if like a crocodile popped out while you're just taking a pee?
Fair enough. Yeah, just don't get in the Amazon River unless you are a trained professional.
Yes. Even being on the giraffe deck, sometimes if I look down for too long, it's
dizzying.
Yeah, especially because if I'm looking Oliver in the face and then I look down at the rest of his body, it just
starts.
Yeah, a little bit, because he's like 18 feet tall. He's huge. It'd be a lot different if I was on the ground looking up at him.
That's fair. Oh yeah, I could see how a fear of heights could affect gymnastics. Getting on the high bar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For me, it would be just getting on the balance beam that would give me issues. I'd be on the balance beam going, oh, I'm going to fall and break my leg. My leg! I've never had a leech. I've had friends who've gotten leeches, like in the water, but I've never actually gotten a leech.
I've gotten a leech once before. They really didn't bother me, just pluck it off and...
Well, they don't hurt or anything.
No.
So I was fine on the beam. Well, that's good. I would not have been fine on the beam. I would not have been okay on the beam. Oh, Lola's on this side.
So.
What are you doing, Doda? What are you doing, Doda? Doda?
Well, there's cardboard over there, so she's gonna go lay on it like any good cat would.
Are you eating your feet? No.
So,
she's not eating.
Should we begin?
Oh, what? We want to read some All the Young Dudes?
I know, we got in some pretty good conversation about Harry Potter and deleted scenes.
I know.
I wonder if there is a director's cut of Harry Potter somewhere at Warner Brothers.
Chris Columbus was gonna release the director's cut of Sorcerer's Stone for the anniversary of the book, but I don't know if it's out yet.
Yeah, but Sorcerer's Stone kind of like nailed it in terms of the books.
Yeah.
Like they did cut out things here and there, but for the most part.
Yeah, they kept it pretty straightforward. That's true. Sorry, I'm itchy.
Okay. Oh, really?
I don't remember what chapter we were on.
I remember it was like 118, I think. Where were we? Remus had just came out, and I think it was their last day of summer.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I think they were getting ready to go back to school
and everything.
Yeah, there was the sorting or whatever. And Remus's whole thing was it was his last year to do all these things, and he was trying to take it all in, but it was...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was having nostalgia for it all. Oh, no. Thunder was the next one. We find out that Regulus is a Death Eater, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you do kind of need some backstory. So it's a twist on the story of the Marauders following Remus Lupin. So definitely some backstory there. We have released half of them so far, up to chapter 50, in just audio form, if you want to go watch those videos to catch up.
Twist, Remus is gay. Just throwing it out here.
Wow, way to ruin it.
It's an important part. You can't just say it's about the Marauders and not put that in there. What if Sam doesn't want a romance in his story?
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I was going to say there's werewolves, but then...
We would know that there's werewolves. Okay, well, I guess I'm stepping out. Alrighty.
Okay,
well, it was
enough.
Nice of you to come and hang out. Check out the rest. Let us know what you think. Glyn Jones says, Sphinx cats are lovely. They had two, and they felt like a fuzzy peach.
Look, I'm not saying that they're not nice cats or they don't feel nice. I'm just saying to look at one, it is ugly. I'm sure they are the sweetest animals, but
That's not very nice.
I'm sorry.
Look at that dorky face.
Mm-hmm.
What a dope. I'm currently on the end of book 5 with your reading, so I'm gonna listen, but I'm gonna be confused.
Fair
All
enough.
right. All right. Sam, you have a good night as well. Get
Yes,
caught up.
Good night, and thank you for joining us.
Have fun. All right, should I get this up a little closer over here? All right.
Make sure your voice is nice and clear.
Is my voice nice and clear?
Might have to do some rearranging as far as like mic goes and stuff, but it's a work in progress.
Sorry.
Like center, this isn't about me. This is your there.
Sorry. Oh, sheepers. What is that?
What?
That.
A widget.
Oh. Well, it just popped up.
Oh.
Okay. Mike is nice. Really, really clear coughs. Okay, that's good. All right. So we're on chapter 121. 7th year. Quill shopping. Content warning for homophobia, homophobic language, and bullying.
Okay.
You've all been warned.
Before we start reading, just to answer Dan there, if you get noise feedback, we do get that too sometimes. If you haven't checked it out, there's the program called Audacity. It's a free program, and you can go in and remove that background like feedback from your recordings. It's really useful.
Oh, you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
He mentioned that, and
Okay. Here we go.
I thought I'd provide some useful information.
Cool, because OBS and Premiere have not solved it. All right. Friday. I lied. Friday, 9th of September, 1977. 7 years. 7 years at this school. I haven't learned anything, Remus said as he frantically looked for the right passage in his history books. There were 12 of them open currently, and he couldn't remember which had the best counter-argument for the 1382 Pixie Relocation Act. 7 of the books lay open on the desk in front of him, taking up the most space. 5 more hovered in mid-air at eye level so he could check for references as he went. If you haven't learnt anything, then what chance have the rest of us got? Christopher smiled peacefully from his spot on the floor. He was sitting cross-legged, books on the carpet in front of him. I haven't learned anything useful, Remus replied impatiently, still searching. How are we defining useful? Anything that'll help me pass my NEWTs. Oh, because you're really buggered up your OWLs, Christopher tutted sarcastically. NEWTs are completely different, Remus countered, finally locating the passage he needed, now losing his quill. Nearly exhausting. He found his quill, behind his ear, embarrassingly enough, but now... Shit. What? Christopher looked up. Lost my inkwell. You ought to get one of those self-inking quills. We can look in Hogsmeade next weekend if you fancy. Yeah, why not? Remus continued lifting books. Here, I've got a pencil, if it's just for note-taking. Christopher crawled under the desk now to find his book bag. Remus felt a bit guilty then, for taking up all the space. Sorry, he said, stepping back from the madness for a moment. It's fine. I'll be fine once we get the study group up and running again. Talking to yourself, Mooney. James and Sirius appeared in Quidditch robes. Sirius was still officially off the team, but nothing stopped him from using the pitch on off days, and at least it kept him distracted.
Merlin's wrinkly ballsack, Sirius said, staring at Remus's desk. You can't have this much homework after the first week. I'm reading around my subject, Remus replied, irritable again. Here you are, Remus. Christopher appeared from under the table, brandishing a pencil. Cheers! Remus took it and began to scribble away onto his parchment. Oh, hello, Black. Christopher nodded politely, ducking his head. Remus glanced up mid-scribble. Sirius was looking at Christopher with a bored sort of disdain. Hello, he nodded. He looked at Remus. Study group, is it? No, just ordinary studying today, Remus explained. But I was just saying we ought to set up a meeting soon, if people still want to do it. Of course they will, Christopher said eagerly. You got half of us through our OWLs last year. Yeah, Sirius said out of the blue. He looked thoughtful, which was dangerous. Yeah, I might join this year. What do you think, Prongs? James looked up from the sofa where he was polishing his broom. Mate, I'm busy enough as it is. Sorry, Remus. Remus shrugged. He looked at Sirius. You'd hate being in a study group. Well, I never know unless I try, will I? And you're always saying it's such an important year. I've been saying that for the last 3 years, actually. And it's finally sunk in, Sirius grinned. That Sirius Black grin. Even with everything between them now, it was completely disarming. Besides, Sirius continued, looking at Christopher now, I might be able to impart some of my wisdom.
Yes, that is Lola. Angela wants to know if that's Lola.
Yes.
Didi Doda. Didi Doda. Didi Doda. Didi Doda. Alright, sorry. But she's a nice daughter.
She's very nice.
Remus didn't argue it any further. He'd learnt his lesson. You couldn't tell Sirius anything. Just had to let him work it out for himself. And yes, he probably wanted to join the study group because Christopher was in it. But after all, Sirius had made the choice to keep the relationship quiet. Sirius was choosing to pretend that he really did want to do homework. Remus would just have to go along with it. In the meantime, Remus felt as though he were limping through the first half of term. He'd not been so overwhelmed by his curriculum since his first year. Everything seemed 10 times more involved than it had been the year before, and the essay requirements were at least 10 inches longer. He suddenly felt really guilty about spending the entire summer relaxing and pleasing himself, when all the time had been ticking away. Even having dropped potions, astronomy, and herbology, there was still arithmancy, history, charms, transfiguration, defense against the dark arts, and care of magical creatures, all of which seemed to have reached new heights of complexity as the final year got into full swing, not to mention the extra lessons he was taking with Madame Pomfrey. Not for the first time, Remus was extremely glad he was no longer a prefect, as he found himself spending almost all his time squirreled away in the bowels of the library, squinting over ancient texts with dust in his hair. He stayed through his free lessons, half of his lunch break, and more often than not was still there until Madame Pince chased him out. In the end, he was thrilled to meet up with his study group again, just to have a bit of human company. There you are! Christopher met him outside the charms classroom after lessons on a Thursday. Professor Flitwick had been kind enough to hand over his classroom for another year. I've no doubt you'll have a classroom of your own one day, young Lupin, the tiny teacher had squeaked cheerily. Remus blushed and did not comment. One day his secret would be out. Everyone would know why he would not be fit to teach, or even be in a school at all. And then what? Here I am, Remus replied to Chris with a smile. Were you looking for me? Not particularly. Just haven't seen much of you for the past week. Not even in the common room. I've been there reading for an hour a night, Remus said, but only once the library's closed. And before Sirius came down yawning at 1 o'clock, telling him to go to bed. Admirable dedication, Christopher nodded as they entered the room and began rearranging it to their liking. But don't go too hard, all right? Try to enjoy your last year a bit. I enjoy studying, Remus said firmly, unpacking his books. This wasn't exactly a lie, but he knew he sounded defensive. The truth was, he knew he was working harder than he needed to, and for longer hours.
but it was better than lying awake all night worrying about the various other problems that plagued him. He still hadn't heard from Grant, though that could just be the vagaries of Muggle Post. He hadn't given any proper thought to his mother yet, though he knew he really ought to. There'd been 3 reports of werewolf attacks over the summer, and 1 arrest made. When it came down to it, NEWTs were the only thing Remus thought he could really cope with at the moment. And he didn't actually think anyone had missed him, exactly. After all, they were very busy too. Lily and James had a whole host of new responsibilities on top of their NEWTs. Lily was taking advanced potions, James had Quidditch. Peter and Dorcas were on and off again, but it seemed to keep him pretty occupied, and Marlene was working harder than ever this year in the lead up to her Healer Academy entrance exams. Mary, of course, had a new boyfriend, which kept her busy. "You need a break," Christopher was saying, taking his seat next to Remus, like his second-in-command. "That's all I'm saying." "Okay," Remus nodded, as if he were really taking it in. It was all right for Christopher. He was a pureblood. Even if he didn't work as hard as he did, there was probably a cushy ministry job waiting for him once he finished school. If Remus worked hard every hour of the day and got an O in every NEWT, he still didn't see much of a future beyond part-time work and depending on his friends for help. That's if Greyback didn't get him first, or if the ministry didn't lock him up. The other students began arriving so they could stop talking about it. It was a smaller group than last year, but still a good round dozen. You couldn't expect everyone to show up the first week. Sirius did come, much to Remus's surprise and the girls' delight. "Hi there, Sirius!" Martha Erickson, a 5th-year Hufflepuff, waved at him. Sirius smiled back politely and acquiesced, placing himself directly opposite Remus in the horseshoe of desks. Remus nodded at him and tried not to hold eye contact for too long before gently clearing his throat and addressing the room. "Hi, everyone." He smiled, looking about. "Nice to see you all back. Shall we start by picking a subject? Anything anyone's struggling with?" The 5th years were all having a bad time with astronomy, and Christopher volunteered to walk them through Eudoxus's theories on planetary movements. 3 of the 6th years were stuck on a history essay, and the 2nd years wanted help with transfiguration. "Okay," Remus said to the 5th years. "If you lot can wait a bit, I'll just get going with these 2 on the transfiguration stuff first." "I can do that," Sirius said suddenly. "Really?" Remus blinked, raising a skeptical eyebrow. "Really," Sirius replied coolly. "I'm better at transfiguration than you anyway." Okay then." The 2 second years looked very pleased to have Sirius Black, whose reputation as school rebel and general heartthrob preceded him, paying them attention, though Martha Erickson looked a bit peeved. The session, booked in for 2 hours, went very well in Remus's opinion. He tried not to hover over Sirius too much, though there was a lot of laughter and noise coming from that corner of the room. By the end, everyone seemed to have achieved whatever they'd wanted to achieve, and even Sirius stayed behind to help tidy up the room. "Will you be okay here?" Christopher asked Remus. "I'm supposed to be patrolling with Lily." "We'll be fine," Sirius said, with what he thought was a very sweet smile, but was bordering on mania. "Okay, good." Christopher gave him a haughty glance before returning to Remus. "See you Saturday for stationery shopping?" "Great, yeah, meet you in the common room after breakfast." Remus nodded, helping Sirius push a desk back into place. "See you." As soon as the door closed, Sirius stopped what he was doing and placed his hands on his hips, scowling. "You're going to Hogsmeade with him?" "I said I would." Remus frowned, taken aback. "I need a new quill. What's the problem? I can meet you lot after we shop for quills, can't I?" "But I thought you and me would. I've hardly seen you this week." "We wouldn't be alone. James and Peter would be there. It's not like I'm taking anything away from you." "Lily and James will be off by themselves, and Peter and Dorcas probably." Sirius was in real danger of pouting now. Remus knew he ought to try and avoid a sulk if he could. "You can join me and Christopher if you want," he said. Sirius grimaced. "Stationery shopping." "You need quills too. The only reason I keep running out is because you pinch all mine." "But Mooney..." "You're not jealous, are you?" "Of course not." Sirius shook his head and returned to the desks, using his wand to return everything to order. He sighed heavily. "I'll come stationary shopping then." Remus felt a pang of guilt. "I'll see if I can get rid of Chris after, or we could find the others and go for a drink." "I'm not going to Madame Puddifoot's," Sirius said darkly, a hint of humour returning to his face. Remus smiled and slapped him on the shoulder. "Good, or I'd have to stop fancying you." "As if you would." Sirius took his wrist and pulled him closer, kissing him hard on the lips. "Oh," Remus thought, "we haven't done this in a while." He felt really guilty then. Perhaps Sirius was right. He'd been so wrapped up in everything he'd neglected the one thing that would have made it all a bit more bearable. They pulled apart and Sirius glanced at the door, licking his lips. Do you have to run off to the library somewhere?" Remus shook his head. Sirius grinned. "Good. Call Portus." The lock in the door clicked shut. Saturday, 17th of September, 1977. "Have you charmed your bloody curtains shut, you lunatic?" James's voice woke Sirius and Remus and Sirius the Saturday of the Hogsmeade trip. Remus sat up bolt upright, eyes wide. He stared at the curtains, which shook as James attempted to get in. Sirius took a more casual approach, rolling over slowly and groaning. "Bugger off, Potter." "You'll miss breakfast." "Be down in a minute." "Hogsmeade Day, remember? Common room at 10 o'clock sharp." "Piss off, Prongs." "Charming," James muttered, but the curtain stopped shaking, and in a few moments his footsteps could be heard receding, disappearing down the stairs. Remus exhaled. He pressed a hand to his chest, feeling his heart thudding hard, and willed it to calm down. "Christ," he breathed. "Bit jumpy there, Mooney." Sirius grinned, rolling onto his back and stretching his arms over his head. "I really need to stop falling asleep here." "You're fine. The charm held, didn't it?" "You and James have boundary issues." Remus pulled back the heavy bedclothes. "Probably. Hey, don't go." Sirius reached out for his arm. "Breakfast," Remus insisted, fishing about for his underwear. They washed, dressed, and hurried down to the great hall, just in time for the last few scraps of toast and a few dollops of porridge. "I expected of black, but it's not really like you to miss a meal, Remus," Lily commented, skimming her copy of the Daily Prophet. "I was up late reading," Remus said. "I can have a lie-in on a Saturday if I want." "Wasn't saying you shouldn't," she tutted, as if he was being oversensitive. She lowered the paper. "I was patrolling with Christopher Barley yesterday evening. He mentioned you two were going to Hogsmeade together today." Remus looked up at her gormly, mouthful of toast and honey. What fresh hell? Everyone was looking at him, with varying degrees of amused curiosity. He swallowed. "Yeah, just to Scrivenshafts. I need a new quill." "Get on quite well, don't you?" Lily asked innocently. "We do the study group together." "Did he ask you, Remus?" Mary joined in. "What's that got to do with anything?" "Oh, come on," she grinned. "Chris is definitely, that way. He's so camp." "Is he?" Remus asked uncomfortably. "I hadn't noticed. We're just buying quills. Nothing else." "But if he fancies you—" "Merlin, leave him alone, will you?" Sirius said hotly, glaring at both girls. "Just because Christopher is whatever doesn't mean Mooney automatically has to go out with him. He's not that desperate." "Oi," Remus said, relieved by the interruption. "Who says I'm desperate at all?" "Exactly," Sirius nodded. "See, he's not interested." "Oh, but Chris is really nice," Lily said. "I thought you'd make a good couple. Similar interests and whatnot." "Maybe Mooney doesn't want to go out with someone similar," Sirius interjected, setting down his coffee mug a bit harder than necessary. Remus surreptitiously put a hand on his knee under the table, hoping to quiet him. Sirius glanced at him, then looked down at his plate. Thankfully, he got the message. "You can't let stuff like that bother you," Remus whispered on the way back to the common room as soon as the others were out of earshot. "It should bother you," Sirius replied, still wound up. "Yeah, but you need to learn to be more subtle if we're going to—" "Oh, we're back to this again," Sirius sighed heavily. "I'm sorry I'm not as good at all this undercover bullshit as you are." "What?" Remus stared at him. Sirius shoved his hands in his pockets and muttered, "Nothing." He sped up, catching up with James and leaving Remus to walk by himself. "Everything okay?" Lily slowed down as James and Sirius began chatting animatedly in front of them. "Fine," Remus replied. He was in a mood now. Who did Sirius think he was, complaining about how difficult it was to keep secrets, when it was all his idea to keep the relationship quiet in the first place? He ought to just go off with Chris and ignore Sirius for the rest of the day. That would serve him right. "What did he say?" Lily was asking. "Sirius." Lily nodded ahead at the two black-haired boys in front. "Is he being a prat? Because I will give James permission to box his ears if he's acting weird about you being—" "Oh, no, nothing like that." Remus waved a hand and forced a smile. "It was something else. Stupid stuff. Don't worry." Christopher was waiting in the common room, a shy smile on his face. Remus smiled back, bounding over to him. "Ready?" he asked brightly. "Yeah," Chris nodded excitedly. "I've got a list of books I wanted to look for too. Is that all right with you? I mean, if you have time, before you have to go meet your friends." "You're my friend too, Chris," Remus said, hoping Sirius overheard. It was a nice day out, sunny for late September, with only a very faint chill in the air, meaning that by the time the students had trekked down to the village, most of them were warm enough to have removed their heavy cloaks. Remus kept his on, because he rarely took off any layers, but Chris shrugged his off once they reached the first row of shops. "Oh, look at him!" A sharp wolf whistle sounded behind them. They spun around to see Barty Crouch and Regulus Black not far away, both snickering meanly. "Ignore them," Chris muttered to Remus. "They're in my potions class. They're dickheads." "Come on," Remus said. "Let's see your list." They passed a pleasant couple of hours together, untroubled by anyone. Remus bought one of the fancy self-inking quills, as well as an ordinary one as a backup. They went to the bookshop next, and Christopher bought so much that he had to perform a weightlessness charm on the bag just to carry it all back. "My trunk's nearly full already," he laughed. "What with all the Muggle books I brought with me? Have you read Other Voices, Other Rooms?" "No, I didn't do much reading this summer." Everything was going very well until they decided to head to the Three Broomsticks as a final stop. Remus was almost feeling like forgiving Sirius by now, having calmed down, though he was a bit apprehensive about seeing the others with Christopher. Lily said you'd told her about us coming to Hogsmeade," he said casually. Christopher furrowed his brow. "Yeah, I think it just came up in conversation." "You know, she's one of my best friends," Remus said, hoping he didn't sound too much like he was accusing Chris of anything. "So, she knows I'm queer?" I think she knows I am too," Christopher said. "Or assumes she does. Most people figured it out before me, I think. Lily's a really nice girl, though." "Yeah, right," Remus nodded. "Thing is, I think she thought this was, like we were coming to Hogsmeade together. So, just, if we see my friends, they might act a bit funny." "Oh," Chris said, looking confused. Okay. Would you rather we didn't go to the pub in case they're there?" "No," Remus said quickly. He knew he was making a pig's ear of explaining himself. "I just meant—" "Here they come!" That mean voice interrupted them again. They'd just turned a corner and found their path blocked by two 6-year Slytherins. Oh, get lost, would you? Remus sighed patiently. Go find someone else to annoy. Watch out, Loony Lupin, Regulus cackled. Chrissy boy there is a knob gobbler. Chris turned bright red and looked at his feet. In a fit of rage, Remus withdrew his wand and adopted a dueling stance. Piss off, Black, he shouted, or I'll tell Mummy you still play Quidditch. Regulus scowled and pulled out his own wand. Yeah, another voice added, and I'll tell all your creepy mates how you wet the bed until you were 10. Sirius appeared at Remus's shoulder. Remus laughed. Is that true? Yep. Shut up! Regulus burst out angrily. He didn't go red when he was embarrassed, but turned a shade paler. Flagrante! Protego! Sirius yelled, deflecting the curse just in time. Just you wait, Regulus growled, backing away. What are you going to do, give me detention? Sirius laughed. I'm quaking in my boots. Run along, little brother. Regulus clenched his fists. You're no brother of mine. He spat as he turned and stalked away, Barty following him, looking annoyed that he hadn't had his own fun. Suits me, Sirius said quietly under his breath. He turned to Remus and Chris. 3 broomsticks?
Oh, well, it's Sirius's turn to be jealous.
Yep.
Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Sirius come from out of nowhere? Following them, maybe? Eavesdropping? Making sure there's no funny business going on?
He wasn't dropping no eaves.
And, damn. Remus misses a lot of meals.
Oh!
You okay?
Yeah, I just had to burp. Dan was thinking of Samwise too. I weren't dropping no eaves, Mr. Gandalf, sir.
Oh, and to answer Kayla's question, Lola is 10, right?
No. They told me last time that Lola is like 12.
12? Okay.
We did good,
I was gonna say, we thought she was older.
Yeah, we thought she was like 15, but the last time she went to the vet, they said she's like 12.
She's in her prime.
Yes. Yes, she is. So this time we actually did get a homophobic slur rather than a little bit of a tease of a homophobic slur.
Yeah, that's true.
Chris got called a knob gobbler.
I know. It's the first time I think that there's been the warning, and it's actually been like
something that like I would think would be
a slur.
Like really rude. I mean, when they were talking about like David Bowie on TV and the kids were like talking about him being queer and stuff. Like I get that too, but this was the first instance where it was like, okay, we're actually being homophobic in public, saying awful things.
Makes sense though. Now they're Death Eaters, so they have that freedom.
Yeah. So Kayla, we have 4 cats, a dog, and 2 fish tanks, with 2 fish each in the fish tanks.
3 in that one.
That's right, the Pleco. I always forget about him. I'd like to put more fish in the fish tank, but you know.
Well, we said we were going to get Ramona a little fish for this.
At some point, yeah.
More to come.
I have to pee.
Okay.
So, like, my eyes, I gotta like wash my face. My eyes are getting tired, but I'm not tired.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Beatty, he's going to come say hi. All right, actually, while she goes to the bathroom, I'm going to go grab another drink. So we'll be right back. Yeah. That is true, Dan. Yeah, now that it's like all out in the open, there's probably going to be a little bit more conflict regarding that. But, all right, we'll be right back. Brief intermission. Oh, no worries. That's not rude. Ramona is 6. So I wonder where the story's going to go from here. Lily was going to give James permission to slap Sirius upside the head. I wonder if now we're going to have more Gryffindor versus Slytherin action because of this confrontation with Remus. Are the Marauders going to be back at it? More pranks, finally? And maybe we'll see more of Snivellus. Because where has Snape been? We haven't seen Snape in a hot minute. Oh yeah, 6 is about that age. Mona can be pretty crazy too. Especially when it's bedtime and she's really tired, but she doesn't want to be. Yeah, that's true, Dan. It is. I wonder if Snape is doing something in the Room of Requirements this year.
Does Snape know about the room of requirement?
Probably not, but Dan brought up the point that it feels like Snape is lacking, but that's a lot like Draco being somewhat left out. So I was thinking about, we didn't really see Draco that much during his time trying to reconstruct the cabinet.
Yeah, but he was consistently mentioned though.
Yeah, you have Snape mentioned. You just don't see him.
Yeah, but he breaks Harry's nose in 6.
Okay,
stuff happens. It just and then yeah, I think there's just intentional leaving him off the page.
Mm.
And I think after the Sirius thing, I think they backed off a bit. Like, I think after the serious werewolf thing happened, I think they backed off, maybe.
Yeah.
A bit.
Maybe Snape backed off because, he doesn't want to...
Put my phone in the bathroom. I can't read.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. I'm a terrible live streamer today. So maybe there just isn't that much interaction to be had.
Pulling the stuffies being pulled out and scattered. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds awful, trying to get 3 young children to sleep. Could not have the patience for that.
I mean, there is a reason why I only had one. Yeah, the kids channel, we got one book done and then we haven't done anything since because we've been so absorbed in All the Young Dudes and now A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yep.
But we should do more kids books. We should. Should at least finish the Ramona series anyway.
Yeah.
We've got the I left my Sneakers in Dimension X books. Should put up some Roald Dahl.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there eventually,
Winnie the Pooh.
when we have all the time.
Hey, and Winnie the Pooh's in the public domain now.
Kids need to hear you. They can be inspired. Aw.
See?
That was very nice.
Actually, the reason kind of goes along with what we were talking about with kids before and bedtime. One of the reasons we started putting up the kids' books was because the Ramona series was one of Ramona's favorites at the time, and she would want us to constantly read to her, and like for hours when she was falling asleep. So we put them up so that we could just put them on repeat and she could kind of fall asleep to them without us having to stay up for hours and not get any sleep.
And we got one book done and have not gotten the rest done because reasons.
And Ramona started listening to our Harry Potter series.
Yeah, she did start listening to Harry Potter a little bit. Oh, Angela wants the Jungle Book, please.
Oh, the Jungle Book would be awesome.
I would love to be the next LeVar Burton. That would be great.
Yeah.
What a thing to aspire to. Well, I did read of Mice and Men. All that is waiting of Mice and Men is editing and posting.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys would feel. But I've also been toying around with the idea of doing a little Bronte sisters.
I don't know that one.
Emily and Charlotte. Wuthering Heights.
That's why I don't know it. I never read it.
Jane Eyre.
Also never read it.
Oh my god. You're missing out.
I probably am.
Jane Eyre, I think, is top 10 all-time favorites.
Yeah?
Yeah. I love Jane Eyre.
Even
so
more than
much.
Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow.
I do love...
I've heard you talk about Pride and Prejudice. I've never heard you talk about Jane Eyre.
I do love Pride and Prejudice. I think I love Jane Eyre more. I think I do. I think it's because Jane is such a great character, and I love Mr. Rochester. He's great. It's good.
I'll take your word for it.
It's a good book. I haven't read Of Mice and Men yet. I look forward to listening to your reading. That book is devastating. I'm just gonna say it's so good, but it's devastating. It's really good. It's really short too. It's only like 111 pages or something.
That's like all of Steinbeck's books, though.
Except for The Grapes of Wrath, that book is like 400 or 500 pages. That book's long.
that's why he spent all his time writing that. He didn't have time to add any more substance into his other books.
Devastating compared to Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Dobby's death levels of...
But there's really only like one big devastating part. Harry Potter had multiple
that's
devastating
true.
scenes.
That's true. So off topic, but did you ever play Life is Strange?
No, but
I don't think I know what that is.
I've been recommended it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know what that is. Angela knows. Angela's like, Jane Eyre has everything. It does. It really does. It's romantic. It's intellectual. It's horror and gothic scariness. It's kind of like societal critique too. It's everything. Religious criticism. It's everything. There's everything in that book. Sorry. It's good.
No, go ahead. I mean, indulge. You can't talk to me about it, so by all means. But Life is Strange might be a game that you would like. So I've been recommended it, and the way people described it kind of didn't necessarily turn me off, but it didn't like inspire me to play it. It's this story. It's kind of like a point and click. Did you ever play any of the Telltale games? Where there's not a whole lot of gameplay. It's more of just experiencing a story. But it's about like this teenage girl and her experiences through school or something like that. And I think some like supernatural stuff happens or something like that. But yeah, I've heard of it. I've been told it's very good.
You just
but
don't
it
want to
just
live
didn't seem like anything that I would.
You don't want to live a teenage girl's life?
I mean, I would play it. I'm sure the story is good. I'm sure I would appreciate it, but it's nothing that I was like, gotta play it. You know.
I have literally never heard of it, so... Oh, Angela's in agreement. She's like, yes. Love all these books. Angela has good taste. And I think Wuthering Heights...
I've never been into, like, the romance drama books.
Well, I had to read both of them for honors English class. I think Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre are in the public domain as well. I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know about Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've always just been more of a fantasy historical fiction type reader, if not nonfiction books. Kind of my go-to. I've never got into
the classics.
Yeah, I mean I've read a few, but I guess my opinion with the classics is I don't like some of them are good, like legitimately good. Then there are other ones that I think you really have to want to do something with writing or just English literature as a career to appreciate them.
Give me an example.
Like
of one that you thought was good, and then one where you were like, unless I'm gonna become a writer or a teacher, I don't think I should have to read this.
Dickens.
Is good or
no? I kind of found it a little bit stale. Some of it. There were a few that I liked. Like Tale of Two Cities was good. But
Great Expectations kicks ass.
I didn't really like it.
I loved Great Expectations.
I wasn't a huge fan. But like I see the value in it. Like
I mean I liked Tale of Two Cities better, but Great Expectations was great.
I see the value in them. But as just like a casual reader, I'm like, I don't wanna. I see it as like if I was, say, going to be an English teacher or I wanted to be a writer, I would read the crap out of those books. But
All right, so then what was a classic that you read that you were like, yeah, I like this?
the Odyssey and the Iliad.
Okay. The language structure in those is very archaic. Not to mention it's a translation.
I know, but I enjoyed those books. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
You just asked me which ones I enjoyed.
Okay, no, fair enough. The Odyssey and the
I'm
Iliad.
not saying because I enjoyed them, they aren't similar to the way, Dickens is written or something, or just as much of a challenge.
I saw what you said there, Dan, about Moby Dick.
Oh, Moby Dick.
Top 10 all-time favorites. Moby Dick. It's in there.
I have yet to read it, but
So good.
it seems like I would like it.
So good.
Hello, Brandon, and yeah, we did read one chapter so far. Probably going to, we should probably start another one so we can get it done before the end of the stream.
Fair enough.
But we are gonna about.
Trying to make
now I'm speaking like I'm in Of Mice and Men. Well, we are going about.
Tell me about the rabbits, George.
we are about to start another chapter.
Tell me about the werewolves, George.
And thank you. Glad you like the shirts.
My eyes are not being nice to me today. Huck Finn. I liked Huck Finn. I didn't love Huck Finn, but maybe I need to read it again. Maybe I just need to try to absorb that again. I don't know. It was good. Didn't blow my feet out of the water, though.
I had to read Huck Finn in like 7th or 8th grade. I really can't remember it too well.
That's the thing, like I liked it, I didn't love it, but I also don't really remember it other than a lot of time with Huck and Jim on a boat going down the river and a lot of chatting.
But you liked Moby Dick, which is basically the same thing.
It is not. No, it is not the same thing. Not even close.
It's these two people, this crew on a boat chasing a whale on a boat, just gliding around the ocean.
But it's so
talking about whales.
They talk about more than whales. Lots of stuff happens. Sorry, the dog is barking. Plus, Captain Ahab is just such a compelling individual. And there's a cannibal in Moby Dick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read Moby Dick. I'm just teasing at this point. I'm playing devil's advocate. Just being argumentative.
I know you are. Oh, by the way, that's the backpack. Look at that.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Isn't that nice?
You excited? Only a week left before Jurassic World Dominion.
I am so excited. Oh my god, I can't wait. Dinosaurs, and the original crew back together again.
There's a book I consider a classic, Jurassic Park.
It's not classic literature, though.
No, but it's going to be.
All right,
someday.
Maybe potentially it would be considered classic literature. Right now, it's considered like a contemporary classic.
I don't even think it'll ever be considered a classic necessarily. I don't think it has.
Why not? The Land of the Lost or whatever is considered a classic.
Is it?
Or Lost the Arthur Conan Doyle's Lost World or whatever that book is. That's considered a classic.
Right. Okay,
so it could be. Yes, it's another Jurassic Park movie, and Dr. Grant, Dr. Sattler, and Dr. Malcolm are back, baby.
They're playing to our nostalgia, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they're coming at me with all guns blazing, and I will accept that. There's Australia over on your thing here.
There.
Doyle, something other than Holmes? Lost? Angela is sold on cannibals in Moby Dick. She's like, there's cannibals? I'm sold. There's a line in Moby Dick where Ishmael literally says, it is better to sleep with a sober cannibal than a drunk Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. The book is wild.
All right. Why don't we get one more chapter in?
Okay, I'll stop talking about Moby Dick. Also, okay, one more thing. Starbucks coffee is named after a character in Moby Dick. So there's that too.
All right, fair enough.
Chapter 122, 7th year, The Mastermind. It couldn't have been a coincidence that Sirius had shown up at exactly the right moment, but Remus was so relieved at the time that he didn't bring it up. Sirius was being so friendly toward Chris, and Remus didn't want to start any kind of argument. Whatever had been up that morning had clearly been a fluke. Everything was fine. Everyone was happy. I can't believe he's still allowed to be a prefect, Lily said fiercely when she heard what had happened with Regulus. He's been worse than ever this year, and don't get me started on the Crouch kid. He gives me the creeps. She shuddered visibly, and James put a gallant arm round her shoulders. Christopher shrugged nervously. It's fine, I can handle those two idiots. They hadn't mentioned what Regulus had actually said during their retelling, at Chris's request. Still, he looked a bit overwhelmed, sitting with all 4 Marauders and the head girl in the 3 broomsticks. Christopher's own social circle was quite small and generally much quieter. Ought to teach him a lesson, Sirius said, signalling to Rosmerta for another round of butterbeer. Another one, Remus sighed under his breath. What sort of thing were you thinking, Pads? James leaned over, excited. I need to think very hard, Sirius said, stroking his chin thoughtfully like an old professor. We haven't done a prank in ages, Peter put in, eyes gleaming. Not since, the Bobatuba puffballs, Remus provided, sipping his drink. It's best if you just cover your ears, Christopher, Lily advised wryly. There's no stopping them once they've got into planning mode. Remus poked his tongue out at her. It was true enough. He was already starting to get those familiar butterflies in his stomach that he always did when the Marauders embarked on a new mission. You wouldn't hurt anyone, would you? Christopher looked anxiously at James and Sirius, who were doing their telepathic communication thing, grinning at each other like loons and waggling their eyebrows. What are you looking at us for? Sirius winked. Mooney's the dangerous one. How dare you? Remus replied, smirking. Everyone knows that you 3 led me astray. Anyway, it's 7th year, and we've done everything there is to do. Have some imagination, James said. I can't believe I'm hearing this from the boy who once literally changed time just for a laugh. That was you? That was you? Christopher yelped, looking affronted. Remus tutted. I didn't literally do anything. We mucked about with the clocks. When you were 11, Sirius said, you single-handedly organized and implemented a full-scale itching powder attack on the Slytherin boys. Rosehip seeds, Remus corrected. Ah, and, Peter added, bouncing excitedly, you were the one who perfected the soap expansion spell when we blew up all the toilets in 2nd year. Okay, yeah, I helped with that. It was a team effort. Remus, wasn't it you who invented that word-swapping spell to stop the Slytherins using insults?
Lily asked, smiling sweetly at him, tongue between her teeth. Oh, I like that one. Chris cheered up a bit. I didn't invent it, Remus said. I just, did the research. See, James said to Christopher. Mooney is our criminal mastermind. Without him, we wouldn't be the legends we are today. Christopher stared at Remus, evidently seeing him in a completely new light. Remus sighed heavily. I hate you all. Does that mean you'll help us with another prank? Yes. I'll help too, Chris said suddenly, looking happier than he had in hours. Oh, for goodness sake, Lily groaned. I suppose someone had better monitor you lot, if only for health and safety. I'm in. Excellent, James beamed. Remus smiled back at them all, trying to ignore the feeling of anxiety growing in his chest. Monday, 3rd of October, 1977. Dear Remus, sorry I did not write sooner. I've been very busy. Sorry too for my bad writing. I'm at my Aunt Val's pub in Hov, and it's very nice. She's letting me work here and stay in a spare room, but I will move out on my own when I have some money saved. I hope you'll come and see me when you can. You can ring me on the number at the bottom if you like. I hope school is okay. I hope Siri, your friend with the long hair, is taking care of you as well as you took care of me. Lots of love from Grant Chapman. P.S. Did you hear that Mark Boland died? It was a car crash. I thought of you when I heard, and I hoped you was not too sad. Remus held the letter, written on a bit of narrow ruled paper torn from an exercise book, and sighed with relief. He folded it neatly and slipped it into his pocket, grinning to himself. Grant was safe. Grant was safe. Who was that from? James asked, catching Remus's smile. A friend from St. Edmunds, Remus replied easily. Sirius looked up, and Remus gave a very slight nod. Sirius smiled too. Remus cleared his throat and returned to his breakfast. Mark Boland died. Oh no, Mary, Lily, and Sirius said in unison. Who's... James started. The singer from T-Rex. Oh yeah, wasn't that Muggle band you two were obsessed with in first year? Mary tutted, rolling her eyes. Bloody purebloods. Oi, Sirius said, nudging her with his elbow. That's really crap news, though. Hey, I know what we should do. No, Lily said suddenly. I know that look, Black. What? He painted on his most innocent expression. Lily was not fooled. No parties. Oh, come on, Evans, it's for... I'll tell you what I told James. She shook her head. Birthdays are fine, but not during exams, and not this early in the year. Bronze! Sirius glared at his friend. James looked awkward. Sorry, mate, I did agree to that. You know, head boy and everything. Betrayal! Sirius pointed at him dramatically. Treachery! Treason! All right, calm it down. Lily stood up. I'm letting you have your birthday, aren't I? Leave James alone. You off? James looked up at her. Potions, she replied. I want to get there early to ask Slughorn something. I'll walk you. James stood up too, eagerly. Sirius frowned, but James was oblivious. He took Lily's hand, and without looking away from her. See you in a bit, Pads. And see you at lunch, Mooney. See ya. Remus nodded, reaching for some more toast. Sirius stared at the couple as they left the hall, heads bent close as they chatted happily. Can you believe that? What? Remus buttered his toast and mused on the merits of honey versus jam. Prong's not wanting a party. Well, it is early in the year. This time last year he'd have been all for it. It's her. Oh dear, Mary laughed. I know what's wrong with you, Mr. Black. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm the same as I ever was. It's... Exactly. She arched her eyebrow at him. You never change. You're jealous. Sirius folded his arms and slouched down in his seat. His legs stretched out under the table and bumped against Remus's. As if I'd be jealous of him. Not of James. Mary rolled her eyes. You're jealous of Lily. She's taken away your best friend and now you're feeling neglected, right? Sirius went very quiet. He looked down, then back up at Mary. No, he said very fiercely, getting up. I'm going to potions, he muttered, stalking off away from the breakfast table. Mary sighed deeply, in that way girls did when they thought boys were being particularly dense. Honestly, she tutted, you agree with me, don't you, Remus? Remus shrugged. He just wanted to eat his breakfast in peace. She tutted at him, too. Boys, she said, exasperated. Emotional cripples, the lot of you. Right, I've got a free this morning. Going to the library. You? Yeah, but I've got something else I wanted to do. Suit yourself, she smiled, getting up and leaving too. Finally alone, Remus's mind began to work, the beginnings of an idea forming. He didn't disagree with Lily exactly. The parties were a massive distraction and not really fair on everyone else. But at the same time, he hated seeing Sirius's excitement squashed, particularly by James, who'd always been a wholly positive force in his life. He couldn't help but feel that he, Remus, ought to be able to do something to cheer Sirius up. After all, he'd done madder things before. But what to do? To distract himself, he read Grant's letter as he finished eating, then wrote a quick response. Dear Grant, thank you for your letter. I'm so glad everything is going well with your art. I would love to come and see you at Christmas. If not then, over the summer maybe. I will try to call as soon as I'm able. Hopefully the first weekend in November. Crap news about Bolan. Thanks for telling me. We got no news here. Speak soon. Remus. He'd send it to the Potters first thing. It hadn't solved the Sirius problem, though. Remus had a strong sense that he needed to do something, a gesture. Not romantic exactly, but dramatic. He wanted to do something by himself, something that would make Sirius proud of him. This wasn't a secret, Remus told himself. Not in the usual sense. It was a surprise, a present. But what? Just as Remus was getting up to leave the hall, Emmeline Vance walked past in a haze of sweet perfume and blonde hair. Something clicked inside Remus's brain and he jogged to catch up. Hey, Emmeline, can I ask you a favour? Friday, 7th of October, 1977. It had taken all week between lessons and homework, but Remus had finally cracked it in time for Friday morning. It was a bit mad, which was why he hadn't told anyone about it. They might think it was a bit strange going so far over the top just to cheer up Sirius, but it seemed so worthwhile at the time, making Sirius happy. Emmeline's instructions had been relatively clear, but Remus had made some of his own tweaks for good measure. He'd paid her off with the last of his tobacco and sworn her to secrecy, though she'd said she wouldn't tell anyway because she liked the idea so much. She loved Mark Bolan too. The next few days he spent doing preliminary work in the library, hidden at his favourite desk near one of the back windows, where the light was good. Friday morning he woke up early, earlier than James even, borrowed the invisibility cloak and made sure everything was in place. He made a mental note to get better at setting timing spells as he yawned his way through the halls, tapping each portrait, statue and suit of armour with his wand. Morning, Mooney. Oh, by the time everyone else was beginning to wake up, Remus had finished and was snoozing in an armchair in the common room. Morning, Mooney. James woke him cheerily in full Quidditch kit, broom in hand. Morning. See you in charms, he called as he exited through the portrait hole. Remus sat up straight and listened intently. Quiet footsteps, James whistling, then, yes, the fat lady began to sing in a high falsetto. Ride it out like a bird in the skyways. Ride it on out like you were a bird. Fly it all out like an eagle in a sunbeam. Ride it on out like you were a bird. What the fuck? James exclaimed. Remus grinned and punched the air. It worked. The rest of the morning was delightful chaos. Every portrait in the castle had begun to sing Ride a White Swan on repeat, and not just the portraits. Every radio, gramophone, record player, statue, anything that could make a noise was now tunefully blaring Mark Bolan's greatest hit. The best part was that most of the Muggle-born students were singing along too, as it was such a catchy song. The racket was so bad in the end that McGonagall announced lessons would be cancelled for the day while the teachers worked out how to stop the singing. Remus had added a security measure which meant that silencio only resulted in volume increase. Sirius was thrilled, of course. "Who do you think did it?" Peter asked excitedly at the breakfast table. In the background, some 6-year girls were chanting along with the tiny baritone of the armour. Wear a tall hat like a druid in the old days. Wear a tall hat and a tattooed gown. Ride a white swan like the people of the Beltane. Wear your hair long, babe, you can't go wrong. I don't need to think. I know, Sirius said smugly. Remus smiled. Mary leaned over eagerly. Who? Prongs, obviously, Sirius said. Probably trying to make it up to me. About the party. Sirius's stomach sank. The idiot. Blimey, Mary said. James? By himself? She looked sceptical. Good old Mary. Amazing, right? Sirius kept saying. I didn't think Prongs knew any T-Rex songs. Remus said irritably. Funny thing, that. What's up with you? Mary nudged him. I thought you liked T-Rex. I do, Remus replied, tight-lipped. He stood up. If lessons are cancelled, I suppose I'll go and catch up on some homework. Sirius looked up, confused. I thought we were going to, play chess. Remus shrugged. Not in the mood. He left quickly before his annoyance became too obvious. He did go to the library, of course. It was the only quiet place in the castle, but he couldn't concentrate on anything. Plus, someone had dared to sit in his favourite seat. There were only 2 second years, and Gryffindors too. If he wanted to play the Marauder card, he could easily get them to move, but he was in the mood to suffer in silence, so he picked a lesser desk. Someone had carved something into the wood. Who knew how long ago? Everything in this damn castle was so old. It was a poem, a few lines of adolescent doggerel. Never kiss your lover at the garden gate. Love is blind, but your neighbours ain't. Remus snorted despite himself. Stupid. Didn't even rhyme properly. All right, Moody. Remus looked to see Sirius sauntering toward him, weaving smoothly between the big study desks. A group of girls sitting behind Remus tittered noisily. Remus slouched down further in his seat, folding his arms. I'm busy, he grunted, flipping open the nearest book to a random page. You look it. Sirius grabbed a chair, spun it round and straddled it, folding his arms round the back and resting his chin on them, staring at Remus in that annoying way, with that annoying grin. Go away, Remus said, looking at his book. Moony? Sirius smiled. It was you, wasn't it? Remus shrugged. Sirius snorted. You twat! Why didn't you say so? Didn't feel like it. Okay. I don't know. Could it be that you're completely mental in addition to being a moody git? Bugger off. Remus was starting to smile. He hated that Sirius could always do that. Sirius gave a little sigh. You know, Moony, if you insist on being so secretive all the time, misunderstandings will happen. I know. Remus felt uncomfortable. He wasn't used to Sirius being the logical one. Sorry. His shoulders sank and he looked down nervously. Do you like it, though? Of course I like it, you idiot, Sirius exclaimed, slapping his hand on the desk. It's incredible, Remus, thank you. Sirius pinked slightly. I really love it. You do? Remus looked up at him. I do. I've always loved your magic. It's so... you. Shut up. Remus felt himself blushing. It was even harder not to smile. Every muscle in his face was conspiring against him. He kicked Sirius's foot under the table. Sirius kicked him back.
Chest. That's what all the young wizards are calling it nowadays.
What is this?
This is me buried in animals.
It's BB time. It's BB times. Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
What?
Dan says he posted the T-Rex channel to the Discord. So we can catch up on our 70s masterpieces.
I guess so.
Are all the young dudes
Playlist.
playlists.
I don't know who to
Should
pick.
make that. Make a all the young dudes playlist on Spotify. I wonder if someone has with all the songs,
They might have.
so that you could go like listen to it.
As you read the
Yeah.
story or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure somebody has.
If not, maybe I would.
You're trying to give me love, Speedy.
So yeah, wasn't the prank I was expecting, but
Well, I think
pranks happened,
I
and
think-
that is what I guessed.
they're gonna do something big to the Slytherins at some point, perhaps.
I hope so. It's your last year. Come on.
You gotta do
Even
something,
Muggles
right?
have their senior prank.
Oh, someone has. He posted it to the Discord.
Oh, okay. Awesome then.
There it is.
Yes.
Oh my god, Bailey, what's happening? Is he getting too uncomfortable?
He started slipping. So yes.
Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at
This
this.
is my job. You read, I just hold the fur babies. Oh, well, okay. I hold one fur baby. Yeah, can you help him? I only have one hand here.
There.
You're making this so difficult. Okay, good boy. Lola just literally muscled him off my lap.
So Sophie,
Big bad dog.
you can read the fan fiction on Archive of Our Own, but you can also order book copies. I believe through like Etsy. You just Google hard copies of all the young dudes, and you can get hard copies.
Yeah,
So,
people
yeah, that's where-
basically print off the PDF and just bind them.
Yep, people print
Very
off the
nice.
PDF and they'll bind it for you. So you can definitely have somebody do that for you. Which, depending on how much you like the story, is entirely up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Dan posted the link on the 18th to
Oh,
the
okay.
YouTube playlist. So there's
Oh,
that.
yeah, I think I did check it out.
I have not had time to look at that kind of
Because
stuff.
there was the point where you did start reading, well, singing, the
Yeah.
reading, and you weren't sure about it. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, of course, Sophie, no problem.
The next chapter.
There are some really, if you do plan to get a hard copy of it, there are some really nice hard copies out there.
Yeah.
People do some really fantastic work.
Mm-hmm. There are some good
With
ones out
binding.
there. Yeah. The next chapter is called Darkness Falls. And there's a warning. The chapter gets a little spooky.
Thought you were gonna say it gets a little dark. Well, I guess that's good. We kind of end on this one though. We ended on a good note, and it seems like the next chapter is gonna be maybe it won't be a downer, but it's giving off those vibes.
I skimmed a little bit.
Why you do that?
Because I could.
Uh,
What do you think is going to happen? Slytherins are going to be dickheads?
Next chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Dan actually brings up a good point. Is Voldy gonna come into play?
I've been waiting for a long time.
Might see something's gonna happen with the Mort and everything going on.
The Mort.
The Mort.
I've been waiting.
Voldemort.
I hate it when people pronounce the T. It hurts me.
Does it?
Yes.
Does it really hurt
It
you?
does. I've been waiting for Voldemort for so long.
Didn't we see him at one point?
No, they just talk about him.
Okay.
Like, oh, Voldemort is coming. He's out there.
I wonder if we will ever get to see him, or if he's just going to be spoken of. Has Remus ever come face to face with him?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't think he does, but maybe. Maybe during his time going undercover with Greyback, he'll meet him.
Maybe. Or maybe he's like, Voldemort like does a rally or something and Remus is just there. And he sees him.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
you
I want some Voldemort action in this story.
Yeah,
Give it to me.
I mean, Darkness Falls, I'm assuming that some weird stuff with the Death Eaters is going to happen. Since now the school is full of Death Eaters, they all have their tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Regulus is going to do some sketchy stuff.
If Lily and James beat Voldy 3 times, Remus could have beat him a time or two, too.
Yeah, Remus definitely could have been there.
Or at least defied him like Lily and James did. All I'm saying is, I'm ready for Voldemort.
I really don't expect to see Voldemort until they leave school. That's my expectation.
I'm just ready for it. I've been starved. This is a Harry Potter story without any Voldemort in it. It's making me hungry.
Well, what if the author doesn't write Voldemort well?
Well, that is a good reason not to put Voldemort in your story, I guess.
You notice that our author really hasn't touched on too many of Harry Potter's main characters. I think for that reason.
I
don't think they're confident enough that they can mimic Rowling's writing of the characters.
She does pretty good with McGonagall.
She does.
Even
but we get
a couple scenes that were with Dumbledore were pretty good too, I think.
Well, yeah, but that's never any deep scenes.
No.
Never gets emotional or anything, you know.
Can't write a good Voldemort monologue.
That one would be challenging. Ooh, favorite Marauder. Alright, so I'm gonna go for, in this story, I think Remus is probably my favorite Marauder. But if we're talking about canon Marauders, probably Sirius.
Why?
Why for which one? Just either one?
Why for the books? Because I thought you really liked Lupin a lot in the books.
I do like Lupin, but I don't know. Just I think Sirius just had such a good redemption arc, and for not being in the story that much and still having such a fleshed out story. Not to mention, I just like him as a character, like his personality. Seems like an awesome guy. Lupin is a close second in the books, though. But it's really hard because we really don't know too much. We never get to meet James. And Wormtail's just Wormtail.
He's a horrible human being.
It's really down to those two.
Sirius is my favorite.
In both?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sirius is my favorite. Always has been.
Why?
First of all, just his character in general. He's very funny. He's very entertaining. He's very sharp-witted. He's very passionate.
Mm.
But he's also very tragic. And his trauma and his like emotional stuntedness is just heartbreaking. And just his undying loyalty to and love for James and Harry.
Mm.
He's almost like a character that just burns so brightly that you know they're not gonna last long, and he doesn't. He just, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Maybe we'll talk about it more during our Saturday character live stream when we talk about Sirius.
That's true.
But
that's
yeah.
actually a beautiful segue too. Because yeah, Saturday we're going to be talking about Sirius.
We're gonna do a character stream. We're gonna do a character deep dive. We're gonna talk about Sirius. Dan says in the story he actually likes Peter because he's kind of genuine and sweet. Like,
yeah,
like he's likable.
Yeah.
I see what Dan is saying. Like, he's actually likable. He's innocent. He's sweet.
If I didn't know what he became.
But I think that's part of what's going to make it so devastating.
Yeah.
Dan says he has a passion. Definitely have to be serious. He has a passion and desire to be better, though not always doing so in the best way. He wants to be more than he is.
Yeah. I don't know if this story necessarily reflects the same idea of Wormtail that is portrayed in the books, because in the books, I don't think he has really that passion to become better. I think he's the type of person that doesn't, or who lacks the passion to be better, so he clings on to better people to feel better.
And to suck up on some of their glory.
Yeah. But I agree, in this story, I think he does show that passion. But if we're talking about...
No. Dan said, no, Sirius has the passion to be a better person, not Peter. He was talking about Sirius when he said that.
Oh, okay. Then yes, Sirius, definitely.
Yeah. Sirius tries.
Yeah.
He definitely tries. Doesn't always work out, but he does try.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a very black and white moral compass, I think, too. And he can turn into a dog, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, all dogs are good boys. But on that note, do you think it is about that time?
I think it is about that time. This is a good place to stop, I think. So, everyone be sure to tune into our Saturday afternoon serious discussion this weekend.
A serious discussion about Sirius Black.
Yes. Seriously.
How many times can we say serious in one live stream? We'll find out. But
next
on that
time,
note, everyone take care. Have a fantastic night. Have a fantastic Friday. And hope you can join us.
Bye.